Hello, everybody. Welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup. We are live, of course, here on January 22nd, 2022. Today, we will be talking about all of the post news coming out of the Xbox-Activision Blizzard acquisition from this week. A lot of crazy things going on with it. Of course, some teams unionizing. Of course, some news from Phil Spencer on what he'd like to see coming out of the acquisition and more. And then, of course, we'll also be talking about Steam releasing a list of what games they have been able to verify so far as playable on the upcoming Steam Deck. That and a couple other stories as well to talk about tonight. Again, it is January 22nd, 2022. We're going to roll our intro and get things started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup for the week of November 20th, 2020. It is Friday. It is, where's my date? It's September 18th, 2020. Here's our first story, and this is actually breaking news for all of us right now here, too. Figured this is kind of a big one to cover, of course, with who it is. Joined via Discord by Kyle because we're in the midst of a pandemic still, and, of course, everything is all kinds of crazy. So this thing is a chonker. I mean,
yeah, it's a beast.
It's huge. Doing that we had the Resident Evil stuff, that they were successful with Castlevania. Welcome to another NPC's Weekly News Roundup. And it's the news time. I am joined, of course, by Kyle via Discord. Kyle, hello.
What's up?
Man. All right, and yes, we're up, we're live, we're active, we are here. Again, it is the NPC's Weekly News Roundup. It is January 22nd, 2022. We are already almost 1 month through 2022, and everything still feels like March of 2020. So, of course, I'm Travis. You can see my name below me. Kyle's over there on that side, over there. You know, that right over there. That's him on Discord. Hey, Kyle.
Hello.
Kyle, I got to say, it was actually good to see you in person today, though, too. Stopped in while you were working and almost walked away with maybe a couple N64 games. Of course, you tried to convince me to buy like a $2,500 laptop, but no thanks.
Totally worth it.
Honestly, it would have been, because I probably would have been able to play some games better than what I can play on my PC right now, but we're not going to get into that part. It's like, yeah, Lissy, can we afford a $2,500 laptop when I can't even buy your $300 processor that's still sitting behind you there? Anyway. Isn't it great? So let's jump right into the meat of what our news is going to be tonight, and that's going to be talking about the post Xbox Activision Blizzard acquisition. So this week, Microsoft, of course, dropped probably one of the biggest bombshells that nobody had. Like I said in the quick save, nobody had on their 2022 bingo card. Microsoft announced that they were acquiring Activision Blizzard for $69 billion. And that's a lot of money. Like, just
yeah, that was some major news to wake up to. Like, I rolled over with my phone going off, and I was like, Microsoft did what?
I was on my way into work, so I'm definitely going to make myself sound more like an old man here with this, but I listen to NPR in the morning on my way to work all the time, like listening to Morning Edition. And then, of course, as soon as I'm starting to pull into work, it's usually Marketplace that's coming on. Mm-hmm. And the first story they announce is that it's like Microsoft announces big acquisition in the space of gaming. And I'm like, what? And then it's like, yeah, Microsoft released or dropped a press release saying that they were acquiring Activision Blizzard for almost $70 billion. And I'm like, I actually yelled in my car when I heard that. I was like, what? I think I made the people in the car next to me jump.
I feel like back when Microsoft made the 26 studio acquisition, I was like, just wait. Their next purchase is going to be like EA, or wait, Blizzard. And like everyone was like, no. I need to quit making predictions. That's official.
You do need to. Like I said, you're going to predict one of these things where Devolver Digital is going to get picked up, probably by like Sony. So just be careful.
Well, they're public, so they'd have to buy a lot of stock.
Probably.
And I'm on my way there.
You're on your way there. So anyway, I've got to say, like the Activision Blizzard Microsoft acquisition stuff has just been talked to death all through this week in regards to the acquisition itself. and what the future holds for them. But of course, in that time, there have been stories that have come out about kind of like what the plans are actually going to be post acquisition. Like, what does Microsoft actually see, and what else is going on in the community, too? So, one of the first things that was actually brought up here as well, and this has been talked about a while, especially with Activision Blizzard, is that Raven Software, they are the developer for Call of Duty Warzone. They have voted to unionize as of, I believe this was yesterday. And according to Polygon, I guess their union will be represented by the Communication Workers of America. And they had said that 78% of eligible QA workers voted to support unionization. And this would be the first video game developer union in anywhere in the video game industry. None of these unions actually exist. There's like the Writers Guild of America. There's the Screen Actors Guild. There's things like that some of these people within these teams could potentially go to, but for an actual video game centric one, there isn't one. There hasn't been one before. So this is actually a first step, especially as there's been talk about unionization with stuff at Activision Blizzard as it relates to the discrimination and harassment lawsuits going in from last year. And Raven stepped up and said they wanted to unionize because they were there was a round of layoffs at Raven for whatever reason, even though it didn't seem like they were necessary, because according to the numbers here that Video Games Chronicle put up here, is that at the time that staff were let go, Warzone was earning $5.2 million daily. A free-to-play game was earning $5.2 million a day.
Well, and what's insane is, we're talking about a studio that's or a publisher that's dissolving other studios that they're picking up specifically to work on this game that, it's Raven's, main project or whatever, one of their main projects, and they're laying off people from Raven. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
No, and
when, these people could be working on their own projects, they were brought in from games that don't even correlate to war games at all or first-person shooters to work on just that.
Yeah, and I think one of the big things that you could probably take away from this more than anything is that it's not just Raven. Every single developer, it feels like, at Activision has been in some way pulled into helping with development on Warzone and Call of Duty titles. Like, a lot of companies have, or a lot of the organizations have, for some reason, had to be brought together in one way or another under the Activision Blizzard banner to help with developing Call of Duty in some way. And it's weird that they would do stuff like that because, and we'll talk about it here in a little bit though too, is that Activision has a litany of properties that they haven't created games for in a long time, or have done kind of one-off things in the last few years, but are still sitting on a lot of properties that they could be developing and collaborating on to create new IP with. To create expanded universes on too. Spyro being a good example. I know Crash Bandicoot got a game in the last few years. Those are just to name a couple. Hell, even a new Guitar Hero would be cool. But
we'll get to that.
We will. I'm just saying though is that all of these different teams have been brought together to do this and focus on this one thing. So for the main studio to have developed it is the one that's like suffering layoffs. It's just it strikes.
Bonkers.
It just strikes a really weird chord with me as to why they would do it. And there's been no reason as to why. Because, like it says here, that they were let go in good standing. So it wasn't that they were let go because they were horrible employees or
Right.
they had bad performance reviews. It was that they just, sorry, you're gone.
Like they had a prior commitment or something. It still doesn't make any sense. Like that's like taking, I don't know, like something you've worked on as a project for, how long, and all of a sudden someone comes and is like, oh, well, by the way, these people are going to take it over and you're going to be there for a little while, but we're just going to let you go.
Yeah, like I've understood in my career working on projects and handing them off if it gets to a certain point where
Hmm.
maybe there's not a lot left I can do and requires a different level of expertise to complete or to support on, but not to be completely shut out of something and then just kick to the door, or kick to the curb, excuse me. So I just
Well,
it's
and not only that, I feel like now they've got so many teams working on one, project that too many hands in the cookie jar. No wonder the code still broke.
Yeah, exactly. You've got different mindsets, different developer sets, different tools that they're all using as well, and they have to go in and learn how to utilize those tools. It's like the weird mix-up that EA did when they decided to, um, well, what was it? They had the BioWare team work on Anthem and another
Hmm.
development team work on Mass Effect Andromeda. It was
Right.
like they mixed up the teams there for like no reason whatsoever. Um,
Like we know you
but
you wrote this game, but this team's gonna work on it because you're gonna work on this other game.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So their we can move on to the next one here in a second, but I will at least say is that their union is named the Game Workers Alliance. They are on Twitter. They have actually laid out what their principles are as well, what's driving them for being a union, as well as trying to outreach as well to others within the gaming community, especially those at developers and publishers, because as we've seen with what happened at Activision Blizzard back at this last summer, we are at a point now where those on the ground floor making these things need a better voice than just upper management.
Hmm.
They need a better way
Well,
to pull themselves together to be able to do what they're doing and have each other's backs.
yeah, and the lower level programmers are oftentimes a group that gets cut out. They don't get thought of a lot. So yeah, I guess it's potentially a good thing that this is becoming a thing that hopefully other people in the industry might recognize that if they have a group of employees that feel that they're being stressed or pushed out, or like their jobs may be in danger even though they're doing nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've seen stuff like that happen before too at other companies, even stuff outside of this. That just
Yeah.
unfortunately just happens. But Um. Anyway, so let's carry on from that one. Good luck to those at Raven Software, of course, for everything going on with the unionization. But I'm going to move on here to the next part of the post announcement stuff as well. So Phil Spencer took to Twitter on the 20th. I can't remember. I think the actual acquisition was announced the 19th. But he said here, had good calls this week with leaders at Sony. I confirmed our intent to honor all existing agreements upon acquisition of Activision Blizzard and our desire to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. Sony is an important part of our industry and we value our relationship. So Phil, of course, wanted to make sure that this was put out there because there's a lot of concern about some of these top tier titles from Activision Blizzard being focused on to the Xbox and PC market when it comes to games. Because, like, imagine if Call of Duty went console exclusive on Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that if that happened, it would probably be rather detrimental to the overall progress in the gaming industry, especially as more and more things go console exclusive. Um,
Well, then
but
again, though, if you think about it, and I hate to point it out, but everyone says, Phil put it real carefully. He said it real carefully. Um, but th- this, if it does put Call of Duty as a console exclusive, or a console and PC exclusive for Microsoft and Xbox, maybe we could see some other shooters come back out, potentially. Maybe we could see another Killzone come from Sony, or another Resistance. I loved Resistance, and that was a game that fell off the face of the earth.
so one person on Twitter actually joked about this, and I kind of liked it. I like the merit of it, but I didn't really like. I was kind of hoping that wouldn't necessarily be the case.
Mhm.
Is that if Xbox took Call of Duty exclusive just to Xbox and PC, that Sony needs to get working on another SOCOM.
Yeah. Holy crap. Yeah. I
Wouldn't that be
love
just funny if that's how
SOCOM.
that? I do too. Like I love SOCOM too. That's one of my favorite games from PlayStation 2 because I didn't have a Call of Duty at that point in time.
Like,
But
and that was one of the first games that like you really felt like it was awesome to have a mic. That really made you part of the team, you know? Cuz then your whole squad could communicate. The squads that did really good on the game all had mics and you knew it too when you were playing.
yeah, because that game relied on like true tactics, true stealth to be able to actually
Oh yeah.
complete those missions. Like you could run and gun if you wanted, but you had different tasks to complete that required that actual like stealthy, you know, special forces tactic to be able to get stuff done. Otherwise, you were
Yeah.
just gonna it just wouldn't be fun. And I tried that a couple times, but as soon as I learned to slow down and take my time and be patient with it, I still enjoyed it. And yeah, I had to put more time, but it was definitely fun. But no, it's what someone on Twitter said is that it takes if Xbox goes exclusive with it, maybe that'll push Sony to go ahead and do a new SOCOM, you know. But I don't see that happening unless there's enough of an outcry for people to just have them make another SOCOM anyway. But that's neither here nor there. But for them to at least honor the contracts though still and keep those agreements
Mhm.
going, that's good. But that's only on
On the
existing agreements.
Yeah, and on the other hand, I could see certain franchises like your Call of Duty, your Diablo, though, you know, Overwatch potentially being a multi-console thing continuously, similar to like how Minecraft is on everything, you know.
Yeah.
Microsoft knows how to make money. They're gonna spread the seeds everywhere they can. If the consoles or if the console manufacturer wants it on there, mm, yeah, Microsoft's gonna make sure it's there.
Yeah. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Minecraft is actually a very good point. And then, of course, thinking about kind of what you and I were talking about before we started with Banjo Kazooie, is that Banjo Kazooie just got added to the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack
Hmm.
and that was released on the 20th as well. Now, Banjo Kazooie used to be a Nintendo 64 game, and then Microsoft bought Rare and it became a game on Xbox Live Arcade and now is on Xbox Game Pass. Well, it's now back on the Nintendo Switch. It doesn't have the Microsoft Game Studios logo on the xylophone in the opening video anymore. It has the Nintendo logo like it did in the original game. And so that's part of that relationship stuff that we'd really hope to see continue on, though, going this way with Sony, because you know it's great to see that, and it's great to see that collaboration and coordination between them to allow stuff like that to be released. Now, I don't see anything going weird where we're going to see Game Pass on the PlayStation anytime soon. I'm talking Xbox Game Pass, but
Hmm.
all I'm saying though is that you know the collaboration is there for Microsoft. I don't think they're going to do anything crazy to take a lot of stuff away, like they have with some Bethesda things that they've talked about. But you know, I guess we'll have to see what it's going to look like if the acquisition fully goes through.
Yeah. Like that's the other thing if the acquisition goes through because there people are already throwing the speculation that it could be, monopolization and I don't know, just with all the crazy movement in the stock market and you know, who knows? Who knows? But
But you're right. Let's transition on then to this other part here
yeah.
because this is this is kind of the other part, and this is what I was alluding to, and we were talking a little earlier here. Is um, again talking about reviving old IP at Activision. So this story here from the Washington Post, where Phil Spencer, again, not even head of Xbox. I shouldn't even be saying that. He is the CEO of Microsoft Gaming now. That is the actual organization. He is CEO of it. He reports directly to Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. So, yes, CEO of Microsoft Gaming, Phil Spencer, did actually say here um, that he really wants there to be work on, you know, he wants there to be work on bringing some of this old IP back. So it's just a lot of these big things here. Like, let me see if I can find some good samples here. Like, I've read through the article, but I just got to find some good ones here. Let's see. Where do you say it? Let's see. We'll be hoping that we'll be able to work with them when the deal closes to make sure we have the resources to work on franchises that I love from my childhood and that the teams really want to get. I'm looking forward to these conversations. I really think it's about adding resources and increasing capability. So he's basically saying that because these teams have been so limited by their inability to bring back some of this old IP, that they want to throw more money at them to say, like, bring more people in, get more of these games made, go, go, go. You know, that's the takeaway I have from that quote.
Yeah. That's kind of where I was at with that one. I don't know. I'm excited to see what could potentially happen. He's talking a lot of franchises that, like we mentioned earlier, could come back. The Crash Bandicoot, the Spyro, and even like Hexen. I mean, when was the last time you played Hexen?
I don't even know what Hexen is. That's my thing, is that it's like I don't even know what that game is.
It was like a 360 Windows game.
Yeah, like I see it here. Like I'm gonna just do a quick Google search for it to see what this is.
If it's the one I'm thinking of.
Let's see.
Oh, nope, it's not. That's not the one I was thinking of. Okay, no, this was okay.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see.
Yeah, it was like a first-person shooter demon game.
Yeah, I see here a first person, and the funny part is that it was developed by Raven Software. But it was, let's see, it was by Raven Software. So technically it would be a Activision property now that they own Raven Software anyway. But it's just, yeah. So I don't know. Anyway, besides that, though, at least he just thinks that it's a way for them to be able to at least, you know, kind of start working on it. And of course, it's a lot of things that would come to Game Pass. It will be very interesting to be able to play something like Crash Bandicoot on the Xbox, though, being that Crash Bandicoot was really the mascot of PlayStation and is now on there.
Both kind of Crash and Spyro at one time. More so Crash. I mean, they had a guy that ran around in an actual Crash costume, like something.
And went outside the
Disneyland.
Yeah, and he went outside the Nintendo offices in Washington and would yell at them with a megaphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now that's gonna be a Xbox property,
right? That it's just crazy to think that, you know. So Sony locked down Spider-Man from when back in the day when Marvel was having problems, but they never locked down Crash. They never locked down Spyro.
I know. I think what's funny though is that it's like, wouldn't it be great to actually see Microsoft revive like those types of older commercials again in some way? Like, can you imagine like a Halo?
Oh man, if Crash was outside the Sony headquarters yelling at them.
Imagine, but he pulls up in a Warthog.
Oh my God. Yeah, with Master Chief driving.
Yes. He pulls up and no, it's Spyro driving with Crash in the passenger seat, yelling with the megaphone, and Master Chief on the turret in the back. You get them all together that way. And then Doom Guy just like walking behind for some reason. I don't know. Yeah. Or put Doom Guy in the turret itself. So then you get all the good properties there together. You get some of the Activision stuff. Yeah, get a good mix there. And then they're outside Sony and Nintendo offices doing something. But anyway, all I'm imagining is like at some point is like, can you imagine, better yet, I don't want to keep going crazy on this, but this just popped in my head. It's the Crash Bandicoot suit that the guy was wearing, but it's Master Chief on the inside. So it's the Master Chief helmet inside where the head is.
Yeah,
and then it's just
off the top and it's Master Chief.
It would be perfect.
Oh man,
I would pay good money to see that. But anyway, the fact though that like Phil wants to actually take advantage of the acquisition, and it's not just to like bolster Game Pass. It's not to take these existing IP that already have support in that to just continue working those, but it's also to bring back some of these beloved franchises that haven't really been given the love and attention that they've deserved for a long time. You know, put good money and good effort into being able to bring some of that stuff back.
Well, and especially you think about games like Crash and Spyro, Toys for Bob that did an excellent job on the remasters of both of those games. Um, they were put on the wayside to work on Call of Duty, and now they might have the opportunity to actually put out new Crash and Spyro games. So that's really cool. I mean, I think it's really cool anyway.
Well, and like I told you the other day, is that what I'm hoping for is that because Activision owns High Moon Studios, we need
Mhm.
more Transformers War for Cybertron games. Like either a remake or a
Oh yeah.
remaster of War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron, and then give us a good third one. Like hell, I would love to see their take on a Beast Wars style game.
Oh
You know,
man.
it's like I'm just saying though that High Moon's got a lot
I'm
of
just
good
thinking
stuff. It's
tempt
just
fate. Please tempt fate.
one can only hope. One can really
Right?
only hope that that's what we're going to end up seeing from
That
them.
would be
But
amazing.
it's
But I mean, we could see a revival of Guitar Hero. That would be amazing.
yes, I think so. I honestly think the market's been kind of like asking for a good rhythm game as of late. I know
I
like
need more
Rock Band.
plastic instruments in my house.
You do,
Please give me
yes.
more plastic instruments.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, I know it's like Rock Band has had like our Harmonix has done that like card DJ game. Um,
Mhm.
and we really haven't seen a lot of emphasis on any of those types of instrument games again. But you would think during the course of the pandemic, when everybody was on lockdown, we're all stuck at home together, we can't go anywhere. It's like imagine if you had a brand new one that had come out to be able to actually sit down and play, and you got all your family working to go through all the songs together. You know,
That's one thing I will say is Harmonix has continuously released songs for the most recent Rock Band game that was on Xbox One and PS4. So they still updated continuously, even just recently, I think this year.
yeah, I think they're still
Or it was at
continuing
the
to
end of
add.
maybe the end of last year. So, but they put out new albums on there.
Yeah, and they still have different agreements in that to continue putting albums and individual songs out. So it's good that they are doing a lot of that to continue working on the buildup of the catalog. So there's at least more variety. But still, I think we need a new Guitar Hero. We need some new
Oh
competition
yeah.
in the space. But on the last bit of stuff here, though, and this is by far one of the more interesting ones that you had told me about, is the Washington Justice. They are the Overwatch League team based out of supposed to be Washington D.C. area. They put up a image post acquisition announcement, like within hours after this, and this image itself is just a really quick Photoshop. Like I didn't realize like how super quick it was until I actually zoomed in on the picture and I could see this. But I will flip over to this picture right now. So they post this picture here, and with the caption "We're all Spartans now," and that is of course, being the red and blue skinned there to match Soldier 76, of course, with the Washington Justice logo and Soldier 76's head on one of the new Spartan models from Halo Infinite. And I've got to say that, again, because of the cheap Photoshop, like if I think if my mouse can be seen here, no, because of that. If you actually look around like the right side of the picture, the left side of Soldier 76's head, and underneath, you can really see the blur lines where they tried to get rid of the helmet and that from the Spartan to shop the other head on. But even so,
That's still pretty cool.
it is still pretty cool. And the bonus with this, if I go back to the actual picture here itself, or go back to the actual tweet, if I scroll down, the the Halo official Halo Twitter actually replied back with this GIF of Sergeant Johnson and Master Chief, of course, basically fist bumping 117 to Soldier 76. And, that's only an acknowledgement in the sense that it's like, hey, this is pretty cool. But yeah, it doesn't mean it's official. It just means that they got pretty creative with what they were working on, and it would be neat to actually see that happen. I think that if we see that occur, who knows? Maybe we'll have a Master Chief skin in Overwatch 2, or maybe we will have Overwatch skins or what have you in Halo or something like that later on.
I would hope it'd be like a serious 76 skin, or maybe even just give the Spartans like a 76 styled Spartan armor.
Yeah. I think what would be funny though is I'd like if any character in Overwatch would actually get a skin that's dedicated to like Master Chief as an example, and it's I know this is goofy as hell. I honestly want it to be Reinhardt. I want to see this massive, bulky Reinhardt armor that is literally just like Master Chief's armor, just specced out to the size of what Reinhardt's armor is.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just think that would be cool. And instead of it being
you're
this
gonna
regular,
hate me for this one.
Well,
you're gonna hate me for this one.
Hold on. Before you get into the thing, I'm gonna probably hate you about. I'm just saying it replaces hammer with the grav hammer. Okay. All right. Now go.
Okay.
Now tell me. Now tell me.
That would be pretty cool.
Okay. Now tell me.
Cortana or the weapon for a Sombra skin.
Holy shit, that would actually be kind of neat.
Yeah, I mean, she's a hacker. Come on.
And then on the inverse for Halo Infinite, replace or give one of the AIs you can actually have in the game as Echo instead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think
That'd
Echo would be.
cool.
I think just a little Echo just floating around would be kind of neat.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I know it's those little things. I don't think it'll happen, but it's
every other
funny.
game's been doing crossovers. Come on.
If Master Chief could be in Fortnite, Master Chief can be in Overwatch too. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a little bit. News site Dextero got a little ahead of themselves, thinking that this was an official thing that was going to happen when it was just actually it was just them celebrating was all.
Right.
Excuse me for that. All right. So with all of that, of course, I think there's some other little tidbits out there on what's going on gaming wise, of course, right now as it relates to the Activision Blizzard Microsoft acquisition stuff. But we'll leave that, of course, for another day. In the meantime, we're going to move on here, of course, to our next story. And this is talking about Steam Deck. So Steam Deck compatibility ratings have actually been put up now. There is a whole list. And with that list, of course, Video Games Chronicle has actually gone and looked and started to put together exactly how many of those games have been determined to work what at least Valve says is flawless. So I've got their list here of what is verified as works flawlessly. And there are a couple on here that I'm a little curious about, like them actually having worked, but maybe I shouldn't be. So here's what their list is that they put out here as being flawless. Aliens Fireteam Elite. I'm just going to do a couple examples. Aliens Fireteam Elite, Binding of Isaac, Rebirth, Cuphead, Dark Souls 2 and 3, Death Stranding, Gunfire Reborn, Hollow Knight, Mad Max, The Messenger, Portal 2, Psychonauts 2, Remnant from the Ashes, Rogue Legacy 2, Scarlet Nexus, Sekiro, Tetris Effect, Total War, Warhammer 2, and Webbed. And then Playable, where they say they work with minor inconveniences, which I don't know exactly what a minor inconvenience would be categorized as. Bravely Default 2, Crypt of the Necrodancer, Farming Sim 19, Nier Automata, I think I'm probably saying that right, I don't remember. Plants vs. Zombies Game of the Year, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Subnautica, Tomb Raider, Valheim, and The Witcher 2 Wild Hunt. And as of right now, unsupported doesn't work. They actually did try out some VR titles, and that includes Arizona Sunshine, Job Simulator, and The Blue, but also rated or said as unsupported Persona 4 Golden.
So I've got some problems.
Okay.
Because obviously I still got my pre-order, and actually since I've got Steam up on the other monitor, while we're talking about this, I'll get it pulled up when my pre-order is available.
Okay.
See if there's any updates. But so there are some great compatibility. Some of them that I'm kind of like lost on how that works. Noida, that's I guess it could work, but um there's a lot of stuff in that game. It's kind of basic, but it's also like a powder simulator too. Um because every pixel is simulated. So if you have an explosion go off on the screen, it's like I don't even know how to describe the graphics. They're better than 8-bit, but they're not quite like 16-bit, it feels like. But it's kind of like Terraria. So roguelike, explore, open world, but it's a lot of like exploring tunnels. There's permadeath in it, and it's just kind of tough. But just with when you start slinging the magic and stuff, and you start setting stuff on fire, and things start to burn like in real life, and it's like, oh man, all of a sudden the entire screen's on fire. I just don't know how that's gonna work on the Steam Deck. But going down to some of the playable with minor inconveniences. Um, Bravely Default 2. That's a Switch title that works flawlessly. Crypt of the Necrodancer, same thing. Um, what was another one that really bugged me? Slay the Spire. I have on my cell phone. That there is no reason that shouldn't work without a hitch. I mean, with touch controls, with mouse controls, with just even regular controls because it's on console too.
Mm-hmm.
That should work every possible way, and I don't see why that has issues. Inscription, I could see why there's some issues because of the control scheme, but that could be easily fixed. I don't know. There's just some that are it's kind of weird that they work with minor inconveniences. Witcher 2, that seems weird. That it wouldn't work. It worked on Xbox 360 just fine. But the unsupported Persona 4 Golden, I got that damn game to play on the Steam Deck.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm trying to figure
it.
out. Like, I'm actually on SteamDB right now, just taking a look here just to see if there is anything else. Yeah, and even its tag here says deck verified is just like it's got the mark there saying no. But that's where I'm trying to figure out exactly why it is though too. Is like, is it possible that it's got a problem with
It's gotta be because Sony's like, oh, it's a competing handheld. It can't play on the Steam Deck.
No, it makes me think it's got something else configured with it for like some type of like anti-cheat or something. But I don't know.
Well, I had heard though that they've got 2 anti-cheat systems working quite well on the Steam Deck, and no hitches. You can play some multiplayer games, and there hasn't been any problems thus far. So,
well, I can't imagine like what else it could be then that would actually be causing the problem. I mean, if it is a problem, like with potentially like any sort of anti-cheat stuff, maybe. Oh, maybe it's that. It does have de novo.
Oh.
Could it be that?
Balls.
Because what anti-cheat did they get working with it? Let's see. Steam Deck anti-cheat. Let's see. They will support with easy cheat or easy anti-cheat. Let's see here. They actually have a blog
and I
post
think the
about
other one
it.
started with a P.
So they got Battle Eye and easy anti-cheat.
Oh.
So EAC and Battle Eye are supported, but I wonder if it could be de novo.
Maybe.
Because de novo acts really stupid anyway.
hopefully that issue could be resolved before quarter 2, because mine comes out right after quarter 2. It says my expected order availability is after quarter 2 2022.
Okay.
So hopefully, I don't know. I'm planning. I think we were gonna do an unboxing. I'm sure plenty of people will have done one by then. But um, yeah, I think we should do an unboxing when I get mine and just start downloading games and see what ones that say they don't work are working by then.
Yeah, and I think what would be nice to look at, especially between you and me, is that you play something on the Steam Deck, but I'll host something in that remote play together, and we'll see
Ooh,
how it
yeah.
works between the two. How does it look on PC versus how well does it work on Steam Deck? Probably not anything that's
Yeah, and
like
maybe even
crazy,
vice
but
versa, just to see, what kind of processing the Steam Deck has to offer, at its highest points.
like you hosting something potentially while I
Right.
while I join in. Okay.
Yeah, even just like a smaller game, like if something like Mother Russia Bleeds uh would work on the Steam Deck, then that would be an easy one for it to run.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, it's definitely
So
worth a shot, and we'll
yeah.
see. But yeah, there are a couple here, that I like. VR titles I kind of expected. Although it'd be interesting to actually have that portable computing if you have a VR headset that requires still like plugging in.
Could you imagine someone setting up a Steam Deck on their little like dock and everything, and they put up their index, and all of a sudden their VR just in front of this little Steam Deck.
I mean, come on, man. I mean, if you look at what power is inside the Oculus Quest. Uh-oh. Did he crash? Uh-oh. I think I lost
Did I
Kyle.
crash?
Oh, no, there you go. Your camera disappeared. There you go. All right, you're back.
Oh.
You're back. You good?
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
You froze and disappeared for a second. Oh, you did it again. Oh no. Did we lose Kyle? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I better try calling him again here just in case. Oh, is he back? Kyle, I think you're losing your internet.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I hope it's not me. Let me see here if it's Steam downloading anything. Let's see, library. Because if it's downloading anything on me right now while I'm doing anything. Nope, it's just stuff is scheduled. No idea why it's trying to do that. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't know why mine keeps crashing like that. So
Okay. But anyway, no, we do need to test some stuff out on this, though. I do agree it'd probably look a little silly with someone setting up VR, but for that mobile VR experience, like we're using a higher quality headset, you can just put it in your backpack, I suppose. Then you have the ability to move around and play some of those like more open games, I guess. Hey, cool. But
I mean, it would be a way for Valve to sell more copies of Half-Life Alyx if you could connect a index to the Steam Deck, and that's your all-in-one gaming VR experience right there, and you get the top of the line VR with your handheld console.
Yep, exactly. So I don't know, maybe some other VR titles will end up being tested, but it's interesting to see not many actual Valve titles on those lists. Like Portal was the only one I actually saw.
Yeah,
that's a little weird, but
I don't see any Half-Life 2. Where's the Half-Life 2
don't see any Counter-Strike, no Dota.
Yeah,
no. But anyway, of course, more games are going to get reviewed. Of course, the console is supposed to launch here this next month. Starting, at least the initial orders will start to be shipped out. But in the meantime, at least until Kyle gets his, we move on to the next story, of course. And this is one that actually dropped yesterday. And a little interesting here is that according to Polygon, Dreams. This is a game made by Media Molecule, famed for Little Big Planet. Dreams to be used in a feature film for the first time. So Sony Pictures Classics has a movie coming out called A Winter's Journey, and they will be using Dreams to create the world for this movie. So what the article here says is that a winter's journey is set in Bavaria, the southeast part of now Germany, in 1812. The film will tell the story of a poet who takes a perilous journey across mountains, ice, and snow. The tundra-ridden world that turns out will be built in dreams. According to a release, the film, quote, seamlessly blends live action with CG and painted animation. So Dreams, one of the games that Preston, gave a really good review of, I think, and talked about what the capabilities were of this game, being used in creating a movie, that's kind of a big step. I know that machinima has always been a thing, talking about like Red versus Blue, for example, people creating things in like Gary's Mod using Source Filmmaker. But for there to actually be a feature film that is basically made in dreams is astounding, to say the least.
Well, I recall him saying in a previous What Do You Plan before he did his review that he said the potential was there, like the game is so open, just where can your imagination take you? And obviously if you want to go with cinema, it's capable of doing it.
Yeah, and that's really what I'm seeing. I had to go back and rewatch some videos after I saw this, not only of ours, but also of some other people, though, too, to see those capabilities. And they really are there. I mean, it's not necessarily as like high quality like the Unreal Engine or anything, but the quality is there for the people who actually spend the time to make something in it. And for, I mean, of course, obviously,
as long as it's stylized too.
True. And the fact, though, that Sony, they own Media Molecule, they own all these different divisions, for them to use that technology instead in-house, instead of licensing out things, like from Unreal or what have you, they can do something, with that existing tech. I mean, it would be kind of funny to think about going to a movie and seeing that the movie was rendered in the Frostbite engine, for example. But anything's possible. I mean, hell, The Mandalorian was made using Unreal Engine. But I'm just saying, though, that it's interesting to think that it'd be dreams more than anything to actually use to create this.
Yeah, with Unreal Engine, you look at like their character animator that they put out, that all you had to do was sign up and you could fiddle with it yourself if you wanted. Look at how lifelike some of those characters are, and I mean, you put the time and effort into something, even in dreams. If you polish and polish and polish, you're gonna get something good, and even if it's not necessarily super sharp or super realistic, as long as it's a cohesive stylization, then if they pull it off, that's pretty phenomenal.
It really would be. I'm genuinely curious to see what this is going to look like.
Well, and it does say that it's supposed to be a Van Gogh stylized world, so that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like, all they've got right now here in the article from Polygon is just what appears to be a SketchUp is all, just like a storyboard art for like just something. And of course, until we actually see what they do, it's kind of hard to exactly picture where things are going to be at. I mean, obviously, if you kind of picture like what Van Gogh has been famous for and his art style, you might be able to kind of put something together. But until you actually see what they're planning on, or at least what they've come up with, it's going to be a matter of just, it's going to be kind of a matter of just pure curiosity, just trying to think like, how is that actually going to look using dreams?
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, it was an interesting story, of course, to bring up. And, of course, we've got one more to talk about, Kyle. Ready for this? Halo Infinite.
I think so.
Yeah. Well,
more than think so on this one.
Yeah. So Halo Infinite multiplayer will be giving credits to players in Season 2. So according to a tweet from Jerry Hook, who happens to be the head of design over at 343 Studios, he says, thanks to your continued feedback, we are happy to confirm credits will be earnable in Season 2's Battle Pass. That means you'll be able to earn credits as part of your Halo Infinite progression. We'll have more to share on this as we get closer to Season 2. What that means is that credits, of course, being used to actually purchase things in the store, will be now earnable as you complete challenges, as you just continue to play the game. Because right now, the only way to earn credits is to actually pay for them. I know that when we were doing the technical play test, we got credits so that we could buy some things in the store to try stuff out, but it was things that we didn't get to keep. So they are now going to make it so that way, instead of having to buy them, at least, that option will still always be there. You can now earn them just as you play the game, which is great.
So it's just like every other Call of Apex PUBG.
Yep. It just
for the battle pass. I mean, really and truly, that's all they're doing is they're adding the money in. And I feel like this is a partial step to where they should be, especially when it comes to the actual cost of some of the cosmetics and whatnot. When the cat ears or the Mr. Chief.
Uh-oh, did I lose you again? Why do I keep losing him? If you can hear me, Kyle, you dropped out again. Did I lose him for good? Did I lose the stream? Nope, stream's still there. Well, until potentially Kyle comes back here, I will read this off here at least until he gets back. At least hopefully he does get back here. But they did also announce, at least with this, that they are currently intervening in the shop right now, trying to figure out, based on discussions on exactly how the shop stuff is set up, they are currently working on putting together different ways to tear apart the bundles, at least, or starting to figure out exactly how to better price bundles as well as price out individual items. So what they've indicated is, per the note here from 343 in the forums, it says, our focus with these changes is on reducing pricing across the board, providing stronger value in our bundles, starting to put the individual items outside of bundles, and more. This week, and of course this was posted just the other day, it says we focused on reducing the prices of our weekly bundles, while next week we'll have individual items starting to appear on their own. And of course, in tandem with that, they are, of course, still looking for more feedback on it. They're still looking for more details. Yep, we lost Kyle completely, so I'm guessing his computer crashed out on him. So let me go ahead and I can't move to myself here, so you guys can look at my little avatar there from Discord. But anyway, even with all of that, they are still looking for feedback on what's going on here in Halo Infinite, and of course trying to tweak things as they go on. Currently, we're in the Cyber Showdown event, which just started the other day and is built all around kind of more of the techie, futuristic, cyber-looking type things you could probably get on your guns, skins, different stances and such, though, too. Different armor effects, which I really like. The visor one that's come out, but I'm going to have to go and I guess, I don't know, pick that up probably here at some point in time. I need to keep playing, though, because we only got like 9 days left in this actual thing. Let's see. Did he message me at all? Let's see. No, he has not messaged me yet, so I'm guessing his internet completely went or his computer tanked. All right, well. So I don't exactly know what happened with Kyle there, but, we'll go ahead and wrap things up here, try to get his feedback here at some other point in time, though, of course, too. So, but that was it, actually, in the news. So let me go ahead and transition to, let's see, I need to go there, and I'll turn that off, of course. So, with that, of course, I guess that really is wrapping up everything here in the news. So if Kyle does happen to hop back on here, we'll hop back into the Halo Infinite discussion there again really quick. But I guess I could probably wrap it up here, though, in the meantime. So with that, thanks, everybody, for tuning in to this week's Weekly News Roundup. Of course, be sure to follow and subscribe to here on our YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell, too, so that when we go live, you guys know when we go up, of course, when we publish any content as well, too, we go live with any game streams or anything of the sort, you are already made aware of it. Of course, be sure to follow us on social media over on Facebook and Twitter at the NPCs Podcast, and be sure to follow the podcast itself over on anchor.fm/the-NPCs-podcast. Our last NPCs discussed talked about specifically we talked specifically about NFTs, and we were, of course, going into all the other nitty gritty as it related to what's going on in the world of NFTs and gaming. And oh my God, he has returned, but he's on mobile. Hold on a second. I gotta flip over to him really quick. Hang on.
Mobile.
Hold on. What happened, Kyle?
As far as I know, for an internet outage, I have lost all internet.
So you're on mobile internet right now.
So I'm on mobile right now.
Okay.
I chose to hop in via mobile.
Okay. Well, because you had disappeared, I went over the last little bit of stuff there in the Halo Infinite stuff, talking about the other things in the forum post from 343, saying that they're going to be splitting out individual items into purchasable things. They're going to be working on the pricing on their bundles, though, too. And a lot of that's going to be next week that we're going to start seeing that with the individual items. And then, of course, the credit thing, and they're still working on Big Team Battle. So you didn't miss out on much. I was just doing the outro there because you had just disappeared.
Oh, gotcha.
No worries. But anyway, I did all the outro stuff there, but because Kyle's back, of course, I guess we could say again, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into this one. And we'll catch you all in the next one.
Laters.